When you're thinking about purchasing a portable document camera or scanning system, you really need to look at what software comes bundled with the scanner. Because if you don't get the right software for your scanning needs, you will not have a pleasant scanning experience. So today on Let's Talk Computers, we are continuing our discussion on how to select the right portable document camera or scanner for your scanning needs. It is our pleasure to have as our guest again, John Miewald, Marketing Manager of Pathways, Innovations, and Technologies. And welcome back to Let's Talk Computers, John.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
John, last time we were talking about the hardware side of the HoverCam family of document cameras and scanners. But you really need to have the right software to complete your scanning system. And HoverCam ships with some very unique software, doesn't it?
The HoverCam Flex software comes with every HoverCam. The software is really one of the best things about this. It's free. You have to buy the camera, of course, but it's not an additional charge on top of the camera. There are 4 sections within HoverCam Flex. There's video, scan, connect, and archive. The video section lets you record both video and audio directly from the camera. There's a built-in microphone in the camera, and so you could record any of your presentations that you happen to be doing. And we've seen a lot of use from this from teachers who will record their classes, and then we also have cloud services built into the software like Evernote, Dropbox, Picasa. So what they would do is they would record their lesson, and then at the end of the lesson, upload that to, for example, a Dropbox folder. So then their students who are absent or that maybe weren't paying 100% attention that day and need to review, they could go into Dropbox and grab that file and watch it again. Or some teachers, for example, will save it up to Dropbox or Evernote or wherever so that when they're absent and they have a substitute, they could just bring that file down and just have the substitute show lessons 3, 4, and 5. In the corporate world, use these for training sessions that your people could review. Or, if you've established that there's going to be a new policy and you want somebody to write it out, and you were talking about it, but you only had notes, you could, again, go back and review that particular meeting. Or a sales presentation, you could, of course, save that sales presentation and give it to your client afterwards. But the other cool thing about this is that it records the screen. So it's not necessarily recording what's underneath the camera. Of course, it can do that. But it can also record any screen you go to. You would be able to capture any screen that you happen to show on your computer, whether it be a web browser or a PowerPoint presentation or what's under the camera. Basically, the frame of the area being captured continues to appear with you. So you could go from what's underneath the HoverCam to a website, and you could be talking this entire time and recording what it is you're looking at that same time. So it really opens up a lot of doors. It's not just what's under the camera, it's anything. There's also annotation. So there's a full suite of annotation where you can freehand draw or type out text or highlight certain areas. So really get into annotating on top of things and really calling attention to whatever it is you want to call attention to. In the scan area, you can scan in, like I said, bitmap, GIF, TIFF, PNG, JPEGs, all sorts of formats, really. You can also crop to the area that you want to scan. So you don't have to scan necessarily the entire area underneath it. There's an enhanced black and white mode, which will help you to make your documents look more realistic, more like they would on a flatbed scanner, even though they're not on a flatbed scanner. There's a device to automatically straighten the document. So it's, you can put whatever you want to underneath a HoverCam. It doesn't limit you because it's just a camera on this arm. But the anchoring bumper will straighten the document for you underneath the camera. So it uses pattern recognition to find this L-shaped device, and it'll straighten to that L-shaped device. So there's the motion trigger. There's even a time-lapse interval timer. So you can take a picture of, say, a flower blooming or, anything that takes a period of time.
You also have the ability to do OCR, which is very important.
Absolutely. So the OCR that's in HoverCam Flex is actually Tesseract. So it's the same OCR engine that's used by Google. As long as you have a clearly printed page, when you scan it, you can then hit the OCR and digitize that. Now, this is really important not only for business people that want to convert, let's say, printed pages into some digital format, but also the visually impaired community has taken a liking to the HoverCam for this reason. We do have a Twain driver, so if you have software that you want to use, our Twain driver will allow you to use whatever you want with the HoverCam.
You can also take what you have here and put it into a PDF, because you can create your own PDFs.
You directly scan to PDF, or you can convert any existing image into a PDF directly through the software. So if you wanted to scan a JPEG, then modify it, then turn it into a PDF, you can do all that within HoverCam Flex. And also, it's a scanner. As a scanning solution, it's convenient in that it's not taking up a lot of space, but it's also much faster than a flatbed scanner. A flatbed scanner, you have that light going back and forth really slowly, or it's bzzz. This thing, it's a second. You just hit the button, and boom, it scans. It scans in JPEG, bitmap, GIF, TIFF, PNG, PDFs.
I like if you're taking a video, you can send it directly up to YouTube.
YouTube or Facebook, Evernote, Picasa, Dropbox, all of those are built-ins. All you need to do is enter your username and password, just select the files you want, and boom, they're there and done. Also, after you scan, there's what we call the catapult feature. What that lets you do, every scan appears off in a column to the right. You can grab that image, and when you drag it, you'll see the edges of the software will change color. At the top, it's blue. At the bottom, it's green. If you go to the blue, then it's going to go to another program and then come back into Flex. If you go to the green, it's going to go to the other program and stay there. And what it does, it lets you go to either the blue or the green, and then just drag and drop that image right into whatever other program you happen to have open. So this is really handy if you're trying to put together materials for a presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation or a Word doc. Scan, drag, drop it. It's right there in your document or in your PowerPoint presentation. Of course, you could go to a PowerPoint slide and go insert and find the picture and upload and all that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with doing that necessarily, but this is a much quicker way to do it. It's also much more friendly for the technophobic. So if you have people on your staff or if you yourself are not necessarily that comfortable with computers, this is very instinctive, very easy.
And you also have a Connect feature. How does that work?
Connect is for web conferencing. Every HoverCam has its own unique ID. The one I'm looking at right now is 6604. Now, your HoverCam might have another ID, and what happens is we enter each other's ID in our Connect screen. Then we can do a web conference directly through the HoverCam. Now, you do need to be online in order to do this, but HoverCam Connect is basically like GoToMeeting or something like that, only you're not paying extra for it. You're just using the HoverCam that you already use to do some kind of meeting. So this is really handy for someone down the hall is giving a presentation. You want to be able to watch in on it. You can always use the Connect. And all the features that I've been talking about you can use with Connect. So in other words, you could have a shared screen and be annotating on top of that. Really convenient.
And then when you get finished with all this, you can archive these for later on.
So there's a full archive. It includes both your videos and your images. There's the ability to stack your images into a booklet. So for example, if you were scanning a book, all of those different scans that you did would be individual images. But with the binder feature with stacking, you can actually group all those together and they become one document. So you can make one large PDF out of them.
And when you take a picture, let's say it's either in a JPEG or some other type format, you can edit the image right there inside of the Flex software, can't you?
It's not quite Photoshop. You can bring up an image and edit the saturation, contrast, and crop it, rotate it, a variety of effects like you would in Photoshop. It doesn't quite take the place of Photoshop, but it definitely is really good in a pinch.
And you can add text to it if you want to. If you want to put something across the image in the text format, you can do that.
Having the archive because you have a place where you can find all of your images. A lot of times when you do a scan, you save that image someplace and you can't find it. Archive really helps you to know where these images are right away. You don't have to go searching your desktop for where is it that you scan these things.
But you also have a library. What does the library do?
HoverCam Flex Library is what it's called on your computer. Now you can rename that, of course, into whatever you want to call it. You could always just go on your computer and go to Documents in My HoverCam Flex Library and find everything that you've scanned or recorded in there. Now, you have the ability to change that path to whatever you want it to be. In other words, some people want to save to a thumb drive, for example, or maybe even a shared drive. As long as you can access it and know where it is, you could actually save to some other folder and just always save to that other folder. So sometimes people want to have a place where their colleagues can access their files as well. It's no problem with HoverCam Flex.
Now, will this work with both PC and Mac?
Yes, it will. Both PC and Mac, and what you need is a USB port in order to use it. Yeah, USB 2.0. As long as you have a USB 2.0 port, then you should be okay.
The HoverCam is made by Pathways Innovation and Technologies. And how did they get started?
Our CEO, Ji Shen, came from China. He started this idea of reforming schools in China early on. As a side effect of that, he developed the HoverCam because they needed a document camera, basically. But the document camera came through really strong. Then he ended up coming over to the United States and established the company over here. It's a little bit of a reverse of what you usually hear about from China. This is a case where we stole G from China, and he's creating jobs over here. It's a really great thing that he's been doing here and making these cameras affordable and just really cool.
When you decided to design the HoverCam, who did you design it for? Who was your target audience?
It was really designed for education, primarily. It was really for teachers who have to present to a classroom, and they were using those old overhead projectors. So the camera, you spend maybe up to $300, but you can use anything underneath that camera. So you could use any piece of paper, anything you want to talk about, anything you can imagine, really, you can put under that camera. So for instructors, it really was kind of a no-brainer. You know, fast frame rate, good image, inexpensive. Now what we're seeing is that more and more people are really adopting this, and it's becoming kind of a consumer item where more and more people just want one for their own personal use.
It would be a perfect device for somebody at a trade show, especially, you know, if they have to scan in a lot of business cards or, you know, something real quick.
One of the uses that we've seen a lot rising lately, the HoverCam is small enough to fit in your bag with your laptop. When you go to a trade show or any place where they're going to give you a lot of paper, you know, you don't want to have to carry around all that paper necessarily, in addition to your computer and everything else that you happen to have with you. A HoverCam, real easy way to just set up, plug in that HoverCam, powered off the USB, so you don't need an external power, and you can just scan one after another, those business cards, those pages, whatever it is you might have. Now, you don't necessarily have to carry the HoverCam and the computer around with you at the trade show. You could do this back at the hotel room. But the point is that it's really convenient and portable and easy to set up. And with the motion sensor, you could just one after another place a page. The HoverCam will detect that a new page has been placed underneath there and just scan it right away for you. So you're not putting something down there, hitting the scan, waiting for the flatbed scanner to go bzz, bzz, back and forth, and then, you know, going on to the next one, taking that out, putting the next one down. You just put one down, the next one down, the next one down, the next one down. So it really makes it so that you can have a paperless trade show. You could just go to that trade show, get all your contacts. You're going to be able to OCR them. You'll be able to take those with you. You're going to know who everybody is. You're not going to have a whole bunch of paper and additional stuff to bring home and then sort it out later on once you get home.
Well, let me just put you on the spot for a minute. If you had to pick one feature that separates the HoverCam from all the other types of portable cameras that are on the market, what would it be and why?
Probably the biggest feature that I think, and it's a real subtle thing, but it's the ability to zoom in and zoom out with a mouse wheel. Now, I know that's kind of like a silly thing, but that's a really convenient, agile way of manipulating an image underneath the camera when you're talking about something. So in other words, when you push forward with the mouse wheel, it'll zoom in, and when you pull back on the mouse, it'll zoom out. And you can click and drag the image to different sections. So this very easily and very quickly allows you to focus in on a certain part of a document or a 3D object that happens to be underneath the HoverCam and zoom out very quickly. So you're not just stuck with whatever you have put under the camera. You can really kind of drag it around, zoom in, zoom out, do whatever it is you need to. Other document cameras, they have zoom, but it's usually settings. So you zoom in ×2 or ×3 or ×4, and it just kind of jumps to that point. And that can be a little disorienting for your audience and also for you because you have to adjust the object underneath the camera and, you know, get to the section you meant to zoom in on. With this, you can just very quickly, very easily, and very instinctively just get to the part that you meant to talk about.
And And what are we looking at as far as the cost of these products?
The T3 model is $219 MSRP. The T5 is $279, and the Neo 3 is $299. And the Neo 3 is that's the one with the 2 cameras and does simultaneous output to both USB and VGA at the same time. There's no switch on it; just does both at the same time. There are document cameras that are up to 800, 1,000. I mean, even more so. These ones are real affordable. So it's really one of those things that I think everyone's going to end up with something like this.
And where can someone buy the HoverCams?
You can go to our website. It's www.thehovercam.com. That's TheHoverCam.com. We have a series of resellers throughout the nation and the world that we can refer you to. We're also on Amazon, of course.
Well, John, it looks like we've run out of time. And there's so much more that we could talk about on the HoverCam family of products. And I look forward to talking to you about some of your other great products next time.
Well, thank you for having me, Alan.